Hey mama, welcome to Your Purpose Poppin'. I'm Danielle, and this is your bite-sized boost to reset your mindset, release the chaos, and step back into your day with purpose and peace. Over the next few minutes, we'll get refocused, refreshed, and realigned. So let's get to it. Okay, mamas. So I am super excited to talk to you this week because I told you we were going to talk about where we are headed, what we are wanting for our lives and moving forward towards that. And I started to think about, kind of moving off of last week's question, which I had you think about some things that maybe make you feel less than. And we talked about how you are worthy and you might be wanting for something more or additional, but you are feeling unworthy of that more, whatever that more looks like for you. And so this week, I really wanted to talk about kind of the tagline that I always say, which is we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So something that always creeps in is this guilt, right? We embrace where we are. We recognize that we are having these feelings of maybe mom guilt and self-doubt and, this feeling of maybe unhappiness that you may be in right now that you are feeling really guilty about. And we want to move past that. We want to move forward towards what it is that you are wanting for your life. And the question I want you to think about this week is all about that guilt. And what I want you to do is think about what you might do differently this week if guilt wasn't allowed to have a say in what you were doing, right? Like, what would you do differently if that guilt was off the table, if that mom guilt was gone, if you were not doubting yourself and thinking for some reason that you had to feel guilty about something? Is there something that you might do differently, or are there things that you would do differently if that guilt wasn't there? And I have a quote I want to share with you today from Voltaire that says, "Every man is guilty of all the good he did not do." Every man is guilty of all the good he did not do. And I started to think about that because we've talked in the past about this guilt versus this shame, right? I did an episode not too long where I really got into that. And a lot of times what we're feeling as moms is more shame than it is guilt, because a lot of times guilt is healthy, right? When we're feeling this guilt, it's healthy, but mom guilt is typically actually shame. It is not really guilt at all. And this says every man is guilty of all the good he did not do, he or she did not do, right? And this speaks exactly probably to where you are today, because there are some things that you are not doing. And it might be because you feel guilty or shameful for thinking that you need more, for thinking that, you should be happy, but you're not, for having all of these emotions that you're super confused about having, right? And so we tend to feel guilty for those. But this is saying that every man is guilty of all that he did not do. So what is it that we're not doing that we probably should be doing, right? And it might be guilt that's holding us back, or self-doubt, or fear of failure, or this just loss of identity where you don't feel like you know who you are at all anymore. And you're just like, this is keeping you from moving forward, but you need to move forward. And there is a lot of good that's going to come from that. And if you don't step into that, then you're likely going to stay stuck in this cycle of guilt, this cycle of self-doubt, this cycle of overwhelm, in this stressed out, unhappy state where it does trickle down. It trickles down. And so you feeling like you cannot move forward for whatever reason is likely holding you back from becoming the best version of yourself, which is the best mother, right? So I would love to challenge you to think about that this week. Think about what is something you would do differently, or maybe some things that you would do differently if guilt wasn't there. If that guilt or that shame was not there, what are some things that you would pursue or do differently? And on Thursday, we're going to get into the why and how you move forward, how you move towards those things that you are wanting in your life, that you're needing in your life, that you deserve in your life. And that will ultimately make you a better woman, a better mother, a better wife, a better all of the things. And I can't wait to get into that with you on Thursday. And so until then, I would love for you to go to my website, Prioritize with Purpose. Check that out. There's some free resources there. You can also schedule a coaching call with me, prioritizewithpurpose.com, and I will meet you right back here on Thursday. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.